again, friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Amy, and I'm glad you decided to join me for the reading of chapter 37. I hope you are all enjoying the Christmas season and preparing for it, and preparing for Hanukkah too. For all those who celebrate Hanukkah, that always seems like such an exciting time. I played Dreidel once in school, the game. It was really fun. Anyway, it feels like it's been a tick since I read you guys a chapter from my book. So without further ado, let's just jump right into this. And if you are new to my channel and are wanting to know where you can pick up your own copy of the book that I wrote, I will be leaving all that fun information at the end of the video. Chapter 37. The legend's vision was becoming worse. In her mind, she saw red and could hear calls for help. She urged her horse on faster. Then Trigger appeared before her and shouted, "Beware!" She turned, but it was too late. The rope noose ensnared her by her neck, and she gagged and struggled wildly. Leon jumped off his horse to try to assist Castelia. The legend looked to her left and to the right of her. She slowed her struggling, knowing it would do her no good. She could see how the trap worked. She tried her best to stay calm as she could, which was no easy... She tried her best to stay calm as she could, which was no easy feat due to her lack of airflow. Leon was focused on getting her down. However, he was not expecting another trap to be set so close to the noose. He too was skillfully ensnared in a netted trap that was once used probably by fishermen, and now he too was swinging high in the trees. Leon, being a hunter, didn't panic. His father had done a similar thing to him when he was a child. John had told him to use his head to figure out a way to get out. Leon still had his weapon on his person. He did his best to notch an arrow and to aim it at the rope from which Castelia still hung. It wasn't an easy shot. She was slowing down her movement at a rapid pace. He breathed out and shifted slightly when he breathed out and shifted slightly when he released the arrow. Hopefully, it would slice through the noose. The arrow sailed through the air. Castelia tried to remain as still as possible for the arrow to do its work. It had almost worked perfectly, except the branches had gotten in the way. Castelia tilted her head a wee bit to see what Leon had done. She used her body weight and began vigorously swinging from side to side. Inch by inch, the rope began to lose its strength. With one final swing of the noose, it let out a sharp snap. Crash! Castelia came tumbling down and fell hard upon the ground with a dull thud. She gasped for air greedily. Castelia patted herself down, and checked for any broken bones. Everything seemed to be okay. There was going to be bruises and plenty of scratches, which was not bad considering. She tossed the broken noose from her neck. She slowly stood on her feet. Leon sighed deeply with relief. She wasted no time. She made her way toward where Leon was. Castelia now watched where she stepped and realized that there were traps blocking the way. She slowed her pace slightly, but continued to make her way towards her friend. She drew out her sword, and summoning up the last ounce of strength she had, she swung her blade and cut the large fishing net down. Castelia coughed hard and rubbed her throat tenderly after she sheathed her sword. The net dropped down with a loud thud. Once on the ground, Castelia helped Leon be freed from the net by cutting with her sword. As Leon was ridding himself of the strands of net, they thought their perils were over. They saw a lone rider nearing them. He had his orders. Leon was shocked to see who it was. "Father, what are you doing here?" Leon asked, while slowly reaching for an arrow and his bow. John didn't answer. Instead, he got off his steed. Castilia was clearly winded and breathing as best she could, and drew her sword. He got almost face to face with Castilia. "Birds," he said, with an unknowing meaning in his voice. Castilia had enough. With one strong swing, she bashed John across the shoulders, using the pommel of her sword. He fell back in stunned pain. Leon held her back. "What are you doing? He's my father." She turned to him and shook her head no. The legend used her boot on his chest. "Go and tell Nero I will not be fooled, and I am coming for him. Go!" She angrily barked while moving her foot and stepping harder on him. John winced in pain. "Son, don't let her hurt me." Leon quickly pulled her back. "Stop it, Castilia. This is enough." The legend glared with hatred burning in her eyes as John scrambled back on his steed and rode away. When they were alone again, Castilia spoke coldly. "Get your hands off me. Can't you see it is a trick? The prince is just using your father to mess with your mind and emotions." She moved away from Leon and led her horse slowly to the entrance of the sanctuary. Leon followed behind silently. When they entered the beautiful hidden place, a terrible sight greeted them. It was destroyed. Many bodies were littered everywhere. Blood covered the ground. The legend put her hand on her mouth in shock. Impossible. How did Nero find the sanctuary? She trotted down the stairs and began searching for survivors. Leon was slower to assist because this place was supposed to be a secret place of eternal beauty, and no evil magic was supposed to be able to come in. What a tragic sight was laid out before them. All the beauty was gone. Castilia tried to find a sign of life from the massacre of the dead. A faint coughing caught the legend's attention. She searched to find where it originated from. She dashed over to the now black bubbling lake. She spied the woman who showed her where Leon lived a while back. Blood was coursing down her nose and mouth. Her dress was dirty and stained dark red. Castilia knelt to the ground and propped the woman up to help the woman breathe. The woman, who had no chance of surviving, clapped hands with Castilia. "Dearest legend, they came so swiftly. We had no time. They took it." The woman painfully closed her eyes. Castilia's hands were being stained red from the blood, but she paid no attention to her hands. Leon knelt beside the woman. "What did they take?" As if the woman was waking from a dream, she reached out and touched Leon's cheek tenderly, like a grandmother would to her grandchild. The woman coughed, spit mixed with blood. The woman coughed a mixture of spit and blood. "The orb, the spirit orb, Blinken took." The woman trailed off one last time. The orb, the spirit orb. Both Leon and Castilia looked at each other in somber silence. Both Castilia cradled her fallen friend and wept. The legend then laid her down gently on her back. Castilia, with fresh tears in her eyes, surveyed the others that had lost their life. She sniffed and, while getting up, began carrying bodies to the center of the sanctuary. Leon squeezed the old woman's hand and kissed her forehead before he, too, began carrying the bodies. "We can at least give them a burial worthy of them," Leon agreed. Castilia had noticed that her older brother Jacob was not among the dead. As Castilia held a torch up to burn the bodies, she spoke in the tongue Leon did not know, but he felt the words were powerful. "Dicentco en tranquilidad, mi amigos mea el elementos bienvenido ustedes casa." As the legend said the last words, she put a torch to the bodies, and the fire consumed them. Leon stood next to Castilia. He admired her resolve. She just watched the flames as tears fell down her cheeks. Leon hung his head ashamed. If they hadn't been arguing, then maybe, just maybe, they could have prevented so much death. He swore to himself he would never again put his own needs above the mission ever again, even if it meant death. As he raised his head, he looked down and noticed Castilia held out her hand. He guessed it was Castilia's way of bearing the hatchet and didn't want to argue anymore. He took her hand and gave it a firm, tight squeeze he hoped was reassuring. Then, without speaking, the two warriors continued to watch the fire burn. So that is all the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this book and want to continue on your own or follow along with me, my book can be purchased on Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Apple iBooks, and lots of other places books are sold online. It will also make a good Christmas present for anybody that you might know that likes fantasy. I also have a Facebook page dedicated to all things Legends Orbs of the Elements. That is the name of the Facebook page. There I try to write an article Monday through Friday all about different aspects of my books. For example, one article is about how I came up with the colors I chose for my character's hair color. Another character goes into more detail about my three baddies, Nero, Rifa, and Lincoln. Another article is about how I came up with the names of Leon and Castilia. And if you are worried about being spoiled by these articles, I try to keep them as spoiler-free as possible. So if you are enjoying this story and want to hear more but are afraid that you will get spoiled by something, that is not the case. I also talk about in some articles about my actual writing process, so it's not necessarily about my book, Legends of the Orbs of the Elements, but my writing process. I am also doing a Christmas giveaway on my channel. If you are interested in that, go check it out. I titled it Christmas Giveaway and Prizes. There, that video will tell you all the not only prizes that I'm giving away, but how to enter. And I am just so excited to pick a winner. I do this every December. I feel it's an awesome way for me to give back to my awesome subscribers, new and old. So that is all the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as they say in my book, may the elements protect you. And I will see you tomorrow for chapter 38. Bye-bye for now, everybody.